is Sandi Ault reporting from the wild, and this is the audio podcast companion to my blog on Substack. This is episode 36, Breaking Bad. This time it's more black or white. That time it's well, before Bad Bunny took the stage on Super Bowl Sunday, those on the right had manufactured outrage and offense. For weeks, with white nationalist tropes and bigot boasts, they drummed up division in an attempt to stifle the mounting enthusiasm for the show. They countered with a proffer, a substitute staged for those unwilling to hear songs sung in Spanish, disinclined to take delight in diversity, dance, and deeply rooted cultural celebration. And, right on cue, moments after the magnificent, momentous event, their orange-faced Dark Lord raged online against the light, against the radiant, luminous glow still emanating from the show. Me, I was and still am blissed out by the Bad Bunny extravaganza. I spent 4 formative years of my childhood in Puerto Rico, so the fireworks at the end of the Super Bowl halftime show, they're still going off in my head. Bad Bunny took me back to paradise. At the tender age of 4, I was just beginning to experience the world outside our home in Falls Church, Virginia. My dad worked at the Pentagon. One evening, he came home with the news that he'd been given a dream assignment in the Caribbean. And so, just a few days before my 5th birthday, I stepped off steep air stairs onto a runway and into Fantasyland. I remember looking out the tiny window of the plane during our descent and seeing beautiful white sand beaches, clumps of tall coconut palms bent nearly sideways by strong winds, fences alongside the runway draped with wild bougainvillea bursting with red blossoms. Imagine that you are 5, and for the first time, you hear musical languages spoken everywhere, and see houses painted the colors of Easter eggs. And it is summer all year round. You eat delicious new foods and drink flavorful fruity waters and make your lips numb sucking on cones full of shaved ice laced with guava syrup. Imagine the delight of discovering mangoes ripening and falling from the trees and heavy clusters of bananas clinging to dark purple stems, but at the same time curling away and turning towards the sun, as my sisters and I did in paradise. We 3 girls were blonde and fair and always sunburnt, running barefoot on warm sand beaches, chasing frogs across the cool grass at night, or playing explorer in semi-jungle while our parents fished in the Lago dos Vacas. There, in the evenings, they cooked up their catch, blue tilapia and tucanare sizzled in a cast-iron skillet over an open fire, while we opened papayas and scooped the soft fruit out onto our plates. I still remember the free campfire concerts that came wafting across the water from the stilt shanties dotting the hills on the other side. These were soulful folk songs sung on front porches in the evenings by sugarcane workers, their voices raspy with rum, and days-long call and response in the fields, and accompanied by twangy and slightly out-of-tune cuatros, the 10-string guitars played everywhere on the island. Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show took me back to all this and more. And while those on the extreme right gathered up a hefty dose of contempt before the event took place, even going to the extreme of creating their own switch away nothing to see that we don't want to see show, well, more than 100 million of the rest of us swooned at the spectacular sensory celebration of sets rich with symbolism, songs sung in Spanish, the sounds of the panderos, the cuatros, the maracas. Bad Bunny and his crew held a masterclass in storytelling with scenes emblematic of Puerto Rican life, from the cane fields to the power poles to the piragua stands. I could go on and on here, but I'm guessing most of you saw it all and took away exactly what you needed from that extraordinary 13-minute, multi-layered, cultural, political, artistic, and spiritual gift, so rich with allegory and jubilation that we felt the darkness lift that Sunday night, and we saw what happiness and unity and love look and sound and feel like again. From the defiant flying of the original Puerto Rican flag to the gift of the Grammy to a 6-year-old child, El Conejo Malo refused to relent to cruelty and repression.
Why can't we all stop hurting each other?
For the finale, Bad Bunny named nearly every country in the Americas, and then he added his island home.
God bless America! Sea Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Perú, Ecuador, Brasil, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Panamá, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, México, Cuba, República Dominicana, Jamaica, Haití, las Antillas, United States, Canadá, a my motherland, mi patria, Puerto Rico.
The message on the screen above the show read, "The only thing more powerful than hate is love." These words were inscribed on a football. Together, we are America. This history-making feast of music, dance, imagery, and elation felt a little like resistance, but more like insistence. A euphoric refusal to accept all the darkness, the divisiveness, the hate, and the oppression, and a persistent assertion of the power of love and goodness. In the time travel journey this performance prompted, I began to perceive that I am who I am today because of the power of my childhood experiences in Puerto Rico.
Stop hurting, start helping, stop preaching, start teaching.
Young though I was, I witnessed the pervasive presence of poverty, the deep-seated degradation caused by centuries of colonialism and slavery, and also the kindness of strangers in humble hilltop villages welcoming and sheltering us when we had to head to higher ground during hurricanes. The celebration of the senses in the food, the music, the clothing, the art, and the colors, all this was rich and enduring defiance against dominance and deprivation. Those early experiences ultimately made me fiercely political, a seeker of justice, an advocate for joy, and an evangelist for equality. And so, halfway through the Super Bowl, I could see how it all unfolded in me and why I continue to offer up the gifts I've been given to lend a little light in these dark times. The 2026 Super Bowl halftime show was both a powerful party and a shining example of how love, light, art, and culture can come together to save us. And while Bad Bunny had those on the right hopping mad, he showed the rest of us how to break through the bad.
We will all be there.
has been Sandi Ault, reporting from the wild. Every week or so, I publish a written essay, and then a few days after, I produce an audio podcast version like this one. I really love doing these podcasts because I get to wear a lot of hats: writer, storyteller, producer, musician, and composer. I'm always delighted to include my own original music as well as voices from the community. You can read and subscribe to the companion piece to this podcast at sandiault.substack.com. If you navigate there, you can see notes citing the sources for this script as well as the companion publication. I've used a very short audio clip of Bad Bunny saying the names of most of the countries in North and South America from the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show recording of his performance on YouTube. And I also want to thank two talented members of my team who helped to edit this script, Teresa Dowse-Weber and Eric Brody. Check out Eric's Substack, Decency and Sense. And if you'd like to know what my team is up to, you can also find us on Substack at Our Democracy Collective and our YouTube channel by the same name. And if you want more stories from the wild, look for my Wild Mystery series in book, audiobook, and ebook. You can start with any book in the series and go wild.